about that much water in it. Just a couple of inches is all it takes, maybe one, actually just 1 inch. And then you've got this business, that flat lid, little gizmo to grab hold of. You put the butter in here, and you can put it on the table and serve butter, or put butter on the table like this, or you can, but it keeps, what the purpose of it is to keep butter at room temperature, but keep it from going rancid. And I'm gonna make one that's a little different shape than the other one I just showed you. I think I want a lower, wider one, so we're gonna go for that on this. I want it to end up about maybe 4.5 or 5 inches and be more shallow. That way, I don't know, I just haven't made one like that, so I thought I would. I don't really have a good reason. Okay, comb this up a bit, and mash it back down. Probably need to check for depth. You want this to be heavy enough to not be easily knocked over. So, but you don't want it, well, probably, you don't want it paper thin either. So I can go down a little more. I mean, you don't want it real heavy. Because you can either leave the bottom of this flat, or you can do a foot, trim a foot on it. It's kind of up to you. I've seen them both ways. They serve in restaurants where they serve real butter, and this would probably be in places where they have white tablecloths with the creases sticking up. I mean, a real nice French type restaurant, you're going to find these kind of pottery pieces on the table. And in some places, each person gets their own. When you get over to the edge, you're going to want that to pretty much go to a 90-degree angle or something close to it, so that the inside thing can fit down in there without a problem. And I am really compressing the bottom here because I do not like cracks. I may have made that a little wider all of a sudden. Okay, so let's compress that again. I want that bottom to be pretty flat. Okay, that's pretty flat. All right, so here we go. We're going to pull the wall now. lower down. You don't want to you don't want to make a real thin lip on this, because it's going to be receiving that inside thing quite a bit. So you don't want to, you want to make it kind of tough so it can take that without chipping. And you're not going to be putting glaze on this edge, so you want to make it as nice and smooth as possible. Make it a rib and I'm going to show you the inside of this here in just a second, because I want you to see how I did the corner, like right before the wall. Okay, hands dirty. So the top part of it is probably going to take at least as much clay, not counting the knob. So here's the inside of it. See how the edge, the bottom is flat, and it comes over to this edge and it just starts coming straight up. And it doesn't have. Let me use this to do that. Okay. I love the way that works. You can put a little water in that little groove and you just don't have to worry about anything sticking back up there to it. Okay, I'm going to use this little sponge right here. Now what I'm doing is just straightening the side. That's all I'm interested in right here. Okay, we're back, and this is what I'm going to make the top with, and I've measured 1 1/3, and here we go. So what I'm going to do is make a flat thing on the bottom, because it's going to be thrown upside down, and then make a bowl. And the bowl has to be as wide as from here to here. The rim of the bowl can't be any bigger than that, and it needs to be no more than 2.5 inches tall from the lid. So we'll just start throwing and see where it goes. One thing I need to measure is the width of the top so that I'll know how wide to make this. Okay, so let's see. Not bad, so that's pretty exactly how wide it needs to be. Now, we're going to make a bowl in the middle of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is start to move this clay in from the outside. Some of you may have, other ways of doing this. You may leave it all in in a small ball in the middle, and then spread this out from the middle. As long as you accomplish the same thing, it's all good, right? Now I can go deeper in that if I need to. Let's see. Okay, let me see. A little bit larger. Well, still good. Probably better to have too much, then I can cut some of it off. My glasses won't stay up. Notice I'm holding my thumb over here on this side so that I don't push this out extremely far, because I want to push that over that way and compress it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to push down, not all the way to the bat, and I want to still leave some clay in the bottom of it. I'll sneak that in. I'll lay it down on my right side. I can touch the clay with it. But you don't want to touch it on this side because it'll be like losing your drive shaft in the middle of the highway or something. Not good. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end this little gizmo. But now I need to measure the rim here. So let's stop it for this. Woo, I'm way too big, huh? So let's push that in. And I think it's going to need trimming because it looks a little too tall. Okay, so let's put a little bit of water in there and we'll get that off. Well, there went my sponge. I have a hard time keeping up with my sponges. Let's make that stop. Because I think that's enough clay that... Okay. Slow, slow, slow. Okay. Now, okay. So I will go ahead and treat the upper rim here. All right, so let's get the excess stuff off of here. Maybe I should use this rib for that. Okay. This one has to be a little more precise than some things because it's going to fit into something else. Probably push that rim out more. Okay. I'm pretty sure that that's going to work. Now I've tilted the very, very tippy top of the rim in just ever so slightly. And that, I hope, will, I think it will be a better service of the piece, but I also think it's going to prevent chipping because this is going to get jammed down into the other part that we made a few minutes ago. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear the birds chirping? It is a beautiful day. It's supposed to be in the 60s today, and we've had some real yo-yo weather and some bad storms lately, so it's going to be really nice today. I've put these out here on the table to dry a little better, but I wanted to show you a method of measuring the inside of this to make sure that this will fit inside of it. So, and I've shown you my tombo before, but this may be helpful to some of you who haven't seen that video. So this is my homemade, push this down a little bit, my homemade tombo made out of skewers and straws, and I've marked with a red Sharpie every ½ inch to just sort of give me an idea of how, of what size that I'm making something. So to measure this, I'm going to push the straw down to the rim of the pot. So let's get it down so that it'll rest on there, so that the straw will rest on there and the bottom of the stick will rest on the bottom of the pot. That's a little too far. I mean, this is pretty precise. Okay, the bottom of this, let's get you over here so you can see, is down there on the bottom of the pot. See? It's touching the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to pick that up and put it on the outside of this. Just going to pick it up, put it over here, and as long as, get it over here in the sun where you can see it, as long as you have that much or less, you'll be okay. Okay, here we are. We're going to just trim around the bottom of it just a bit, just to clean up any. This is very dry. I put it outside to dry, and it actually got dry. So, let's see. Okay, let's get that a little better. So this is the outside bottom. That's all I'm working on here. I just want it to go straight down and have this little angle right there on the edge. Okay, I'm gonna just dampen that edge. I'll dampen the top too, since I want to. Oh yeah, we've got to put a little knob on top there. Well, you wouldn't have to put a knob, I don't suppose, but I think it's going to be better with one. Like I said, this doesn't have to have a knob on top. In fact, some people may prefer not to have a knob. But if you do put a knob on it, you're going to want the knob to be big enough around that when you turn it upside down and set it on the table for service, that it will support the thing without falling over. You don't want it to tip over. So let's get some water on it. There we go. So there's my little ball of clay. The clay, this is pretty wet. Much wetter than this is. But we'll figure it out. That wet enough to throw. Get it nailed down pretty good. You don't want to push too hard because you're right in the middle of something that's hollow. Don't forget. So you can pretty much go down to the lid, to the base of the lid. Whoa, got a lump. Using that clay might not have been the best idea. Let's see if I can make this work. fits on here. Oh, that's beautiful. So right now, let me take this down. So right now the lid is just very slightly larger than the bottom part, just enough to get your fingers on if you need to, and lift it up. And then there's the handle, the official handle. And so there it is.